Okay, let's get started on Unit Standard 25705 Task 3. This is the cone transition with a truncated bottom. So truncated means just cut off. In this case, it's cut off at an angle. So here's the task I've given myself. I'm going to make this truncated cone shape here. I've got a 25-degree angle cut off from the horizontal base. Mine's 280 high, 110 wide at the top and 360 wide at the bottom. We have to work out the mean diameter, so I'm making mine from a material thickness of 3mm. So to work out the mean diameter, we just take the outside diameter minus one thickness, which in this case is 3mm, the mean diameter of 357. To find the circumference, or for the piece of metal that we're going to need to make this in full size, we have to do this simple calculation. Mean diameter is 360 minus 3, and the circumference, we just times that by 3.14, which is pi, and we will end up requiring a piece of metal 1120 millimeters, or 1120.98, so let's call that 1121 millimeters. Okay, now we have to scale this down. Obviously I haven't got a piece of paper 1100 millimeters wide, so I'm going to have to scale it down. So I'm doing a scale of 1 to 4. So I've written my measurements down here. 110 becomes 27.5. I just simply divide the number 110 by 4, 280 by 4, and 360 by 4. There is no change to the angle, so even though we scale it down, the angle doesn't change at all. Now, because this is an aided drawing, we're going to need drawing instruments. I can't emphasize enough to go out and buy some decent compasses. We get a set similar to this. The compasses with a pencil and just won't cut it at this level. So we need some decent gear that's going to give us accuracy, and I think accuracy is the word that we need to emphasize here. Now let's get started. I've quickly worked out roughly that I can fit my drawing on my page, so I've cheated and jumped ahead a wee bit. So let's get going. Here's my T-square, and we're just going to throw a baseline in here anywhere we like. I'm going to draw mine nice and dark. You can draw yours a lot lighter. We need a random line going up here. So this is the center line of our cone, so we can draw it in as a center line. You've watched all the videos on line styles, and so it's a center line going up there. The width of my base is 360, so 90 is our scaled size, so half of 90 is 45, so I'll just find 45 there. So to get it accurate, I'm going to go from this point here, and that is my base. We have a height of 280, so I can draw just a random line in there, 280. That's where we're going to cut the top of our cone off. And I've got 110 at the top here, so my measurement's 27.5. That's a bit of a pain to sort out, but let's just get on the calculator. 27.5 divided by 2 equals 13.75. So we've got 13.75, nearly 14. Now you can see that I've got my start point on the 1 here. That is because if I start on the 0 each time, I'm going to end up with a big hole in here after a few times. So you can start off on any of these numbers. So we'll just draw that in here. And I can join those lines up, hit those points there, and they should meet at the same point at the center line, thereby giving me an apex. So here's the apex right there. Right, now I can draw that in almost nice and dark. I need to get 25 degrees, so my protractor is looking a bit well used. I dipped it in kerosene or terps or something. So what I'm going to do is put the center on here. I've got 270 over here, and I've carried my line across, so that should be on the 90. So I've got those 3 points all lined up, so I just have to count off 25 degrees, 10, 25, and throw a line in here. Right, let's draw that in nice and dark. Right, I've drawn mine in nice and dark. I've even dimensioned mine just to help with your understanding. What we're going to do now is draw a half circle under here, and we're going to divide the base, the circumference, into 12 equal parts, and this will represent that. So get that on there. And take that around to there. Now I have to divide that into 6 equal parts. So I'll do that by carrying this center line right down to the point here, and using my 30-60 degree, I can simply divide this like this. I'm going to this center point here, so the center point on the base, and I'm cutting up my circle into equal parts. Now the other way to do this is we can just simply step it off with our compass. I can put a mark there, a mark there. We have to be very accurate, make sure we get the very point of our compass, and as you can see, all those marks line up. So that's the two methods of dividing your circle into 6 parts. So the complete circle would be divided into 12 parts. What I'm going to do now is change the colour of my pen. We're going to go to green, and we're going to take those points where they intersect the circle at the base. We're going to take these straight up vertically to the base, not to the cut mark, just to the base. Okay, we've taken those up to the base. Now we're going to take where they are on the base up to the apex. So we go from the base now up to the apex. Now we do this whether it's truncated at the bottom or at the top. But we've got to take these lines up to the apex. Now we've got that, and on the truncated portion we now have to transfer those lines across. I'll use red for this. So where they meet the slant, we have to take them across to the outside. So this outside line is the only true length line. So you can appreciate this is a round item, and these lines are sloping away from us to the apex from the base. So what we're in effect doing is rotating this object 1/12 every time we do this. So we need these points here. So we've achieved those by coming straight up from these, going up to the apex. Where they cut the slant, we've taken them across horizontally. Right, now we can take the base and transfer all these points that we've made. So there's the base, and that will go all the way around there, and I've just got enough room on my piece of paper. Do the next one, and the next one. So these are all true length lines. We can work them out using trigonometry and forming a whole pile of triangles and working out the hypotenuse, or we can do it this way, that this is a geometric way of doing it. And the last line we need is the one at the top. Now all these lines come across, because it's not cut in an angle and it's actually cut square to the center line, we only need one line. So as you can see, we've taken the lines from that outer edge, from the apex, all the way around, and we've just randomly finished them off. So now we have to form a start point. So anywhere here, so we start from the apex, and we'll just bring a line through our pattern, and this is the start of our pattern. And just a line randomly thrown in. Now, because I've got two compasses, what I'm simply going to do is measure one of these twelfths. Now, to make sure I'm accurate, I'm going to step off about 3 of them to make sure I'm bang on the money. There we go. That's good. And now I'm going to step off 12 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the last one, 12. Now I can join that last one, the 12th one, up to the apex, and that is the end of our pattern. Let's join all of these points through to the apex. Right, we can number these 1 to 12. So we start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Righto. So simply now we have to play join the dots. Being a welder and not keen on welding, we will make the seam on the shorter side. So we'll start with this line here first, and that point goes in there. A long one and up one, and we should, if we've numbered them, end up with 6s on its own, and we start coming down, long one, down one, long, and we should end up right there. Right, that's brilliant. So this circle in here is just a circle, so we don't have to do anything exotic to that. Now it's simply a matter of joining these dots we've made, and I'll get my trusty French curves out. You don't need a set of these, you can actually draw it in freehand if you wish. Always make sure 3 points are touching. And we can join the rest of the lines up. And here we have our completed pattern for Unit Standard 25705 Tasks 3, the truncated cone. Remember, you'll have to add your maths calculations on the sheet, and you will have to copy this out, cut it out, and fold it up for the assessor.